Welcome to St. Paul, Minnesota for a walkout to bring attention to the murder of Amir Locke by Minneapolis Police Department. We're marching to the St. Paul Governor's Mansion, the Governor of Minnesota's mansion, just a little bit away. That's where we're going right now. You can see all the people who are gathered here for justice for Amir Locke, who was shot by Minneapolis Police Department February 2nd, 2022, when they used a no-knock warrant to enter a residence. They called Amir Locke a suspect and shared photos of a gun, even though he was not on the search warrant, and the gun was never aimed at police officers. The police said that it was aimed at them, but when the body cam was released, you can see clearly that the gun was never aimed at police. Police moved into the apartment, kicked the couch where Amir Locke was underneath a cover sleeping, and within 9 seconds ended his life. A lot of outrage here in Minneapolis. You can see all the people. These are high school students who have walked out to bring attention to this injustice that's going on here. We're going to go ahead and follow along with them. Thanks for joining me. My name is Lorenzo Serna. I'm Chicanx. I'm the director of tactical media here at the Indian Collective, and we are here in solidarity with our Black relatives. Here, turn the camera now so you can see, like, there's all these people still coming. There's massive amounts of people. You can look this way, the amount of people that already passed. So we're gonna let the march pass. Again, I see an idea of how big it really is, and then we'll move up and try to get to the front of it. Again, it'll be pretty difficult to move to this massive people, but we're gonna do our best. See, abolish the police, Black Lives Matter on signs. We're at Lexington Parkway in Marshall Avenue near Central High School. This walkout is called by high school students in solidarity for justice for Amir Locke. You can see right there on that poster. I apologize for the gear we're using is not the most what I want to be using, but just what turned out. I thought it was just important to be here, so we're here. You know what we have to show you what's going on the ground here. Again, thanks for joining us here on the Indian Collective. Everybody's gonna keep this live. You can see how big and massive this walkout is here in Minnesota. All right, let's move up to the front. Oh, wow. So again, this march started a rally at the high school right over there. It was a really massive rally. It's moving to the governor's mansion right now. Tim Walz is the governor of Minnesota. Tim Walz issued a release after the shooting saying that the police need to have more reforms. It's really important to know that the police, the Minnesota Police Department has been, or Minneapolis Police Department, apologies, has been constantly reformed. That was the reformed police that went into that apartment using a no-knock warrant. That was the reformed police that kicked away Amir Locke. And that was the reformed police who shot and killed him. Recently, there was a charter attempt to change the charter to get rid of the Minneapolis Police Department and change it to a Department of Public Safety and try to imagine what public safety can make differently from what it is today. That did not pass. And since then, there's been, that's what's happened since then. The mayor, Jacob Frey Rand, who was also reelected on a pro-police platform, he ran saying that he banned no-knock warrants. There's actually documents. He sent flyers that he was sending to residents saying that he banned them. He did not. Recently in a press conference, he sort of justified it by saying he used poor language, even though this is basically a law to say you banned something and then you didn't. Again, we're moving alongside here. Also, after the shooting, like I said, the police issued a press release saying that they shot and killed a suspect who aimed a firearm at police officers. And they shared images of the firearm that Amir Locke legally had. The local media ran with that press release calling Amir Locke a suspect. In the following hours, it became clear that Amir Locke was not on the search the police used. He was just a guest at the house. He was not a suspect of anything. When the mayor and the interim chief of police, the last chief of police just resigned, I think resigned, retired, I don't know. When asked about it, like, why did you call the suspect? The mayor, Jacob Fry, said he did not know, and said that he had put towards the, yeah, send me messages again. I missed that message. To the interim chief, the interim chief couldn't answer. When they were asked again to justify why they called him a suspect, the mayor, who started the press conference by saying that they're going to have accountability and transparency, walked out of the press conference. Just walked out of the press conference, so did the interim chief. And that was the response from the public, wondering why somebody who was just on the couch was murdered by the police, and then called a suspect as though he was the criminal they were looking for, allegedly. And then he was not mentioned in the search warrant. So there's a lot of outrage right now because they're looking at this as killing with impunity. The police officer who shot Amir Locke, I think it's like Hannon, I can't remember his last name, is Officer Hannon. He was recently found to have been illegally shooting from unmarked vehicles during the George Floyd uprising. See the excitement here. During the George Floyd uprising, the SWAT team, Minneapolis Police Department SWAT team, was rolling around in unmarked vehicles and firing 40mm like rubber bullets at people, or like foam rounds and rubber bullets at people out of the vehicle. Was unmarked. Somebody was thought they were being shot at by somebody. Well, the unmarked vehicle actually fired back with a firearm. The police then jumped out of the vehicle. The guy who fired realized it was the police and got on the ground, and the police beat the shit out of him. That's well documented. He's the person who killed Amir Locke. He was part of that crew who was rolling around doing obviously illegal shit. Again, people are wondering what it will take to make the police department accountable to the people, but also there's a lot of like tension around it. Try to move up to the front here. I apologize, I can't see you in the chat. Thanks, sir. You have questions? I'll not if you can hear me. See how big the crowd is going here. It's pretty massive. Again, it's a high school student walkout organized by high school students to bring attention to what happened to Amir Locke, asking for justice for Amir Locke, protect young black lives. You can see on these flyers. We are human beings. We deserve to live. We have hopes and dreams. Justice for Amir Locke on those. Every time I move to the front again. So you can see that it's like both sides of the street now have people. Let's try to move back to the front again. They're moving to the mayor's mansion, Governor Tim Walz. Sorry, governor's mansion. We're in St. Paul, Minnesota, which is the capital of Minnesota. The area is called the Twin Cities Metro. So a lot of what goes on is sort of like spoken about together. Actually, in St. Paul, the St. Paul Police Department, I think about 3 years ago, killed an indigenous man named Billy Hughes during a mental health crisis. When they confronted him, they had the tactical flashlights in his face, and both officers were giving conflicting commands. One was telling him to put his hands down, the other one was telling him to put the gun down. And so when Billy Hughes complied by raising his hands from one of the officer's orders, the other one telling him to put the gun down, the gun swept the officers, and the officers used that to kill him. A lot of people are talking about what was Amir Locke supposed to do when he was woken up by people screaming at him, shining tactical flashlights in his face. Again, tactical flashlights are super bright. Their whole point is to make you blind so you can't see what's going on behind the flashlight. So it's important that you understand that when that flashlight was in that person's face, Amir Locke's face, he had no idea who was behind it. And then you had multiple officers at the same time, layers of orders, and he was just waking up. His family's a deep sleeper, and there was no way he would have been awake quickly enough to understand what was going on. And also the pistol that the police shared instantly after killing Amir Locke and calling him a suspect, which wasn't true. He was not on the search warrant. The pistol, if you watch the video, which is really hard to watch, you don't have to watch it, just don't watch it. When Amir Locke grabbed his pistol, he actually had his finger in like the safety position on the outside of the trigger guard on top of the side, as though he was grabbing the pistol. Like he was so okay. Hold on. All right, let's try this again. This is Lorenzo Sedna. I'm the director of tactical media here at the Indian Collective. We're here with a youth march, bringing attention to what happened to Amir Locke, who was shot and killed by the Minneapolis Police Department February 2nd, 2022. As Justice for Amir Locke is the hashtag. After Amir was shot, the Minneapolis Police Department shared a press release calling Amir a suspect and sharing the gun they found on Amir Locke. Turned out that he was not on the search warrant, and he was legally allowed to own that firearm, or he had a license, the way it works, concealed carry license. The police also said he had aimed the firearm at him. When the video body cam was released after public pressure and after the family saw it, it was clear that the firearm was never aimed at the police, so it was aimed away. And what I was just talking about was, if you watch the video, you can see Amir Locke, who is being shocked awake, reach for his firearm to secure it, because he doesn't know what's going on, but people are yelling. He's just been woken up. The police used the key to get in. There was no knock. And his finger is actually in a safety position on the pistol, outside of the trigger loop. How you're trained to secure your firearm when you don't know what's going on, when you have no intention of firing, because you haven't identified what you'd be firing at. And that's when police killed him, saying that he aimed that pistol at them. Again, the video shows that it was never aimed at them. They also calling him a suspect was called into question almost instantly. That night during a press conference, the public was like, why did you call Amir Locke a suspect? He was not on the search warrant. Why did the police call him a suspect? The mayor said, I don't know. Maybe that's a question you could answer. Look at his interim chief to answer the question. She could not answer the question. When they asked the mayor and the chief again to please clarify why he was called a suspect, they walked out of the press conference. That press conference began with the mayor, Frey, saying they wanted accountability and transparency. And the response to being answered questions was for him to literally walk out. So you can see a lot of people are very outraged by this, calling it very like a police murder. The police officer in question, who's, I might have his name wrong, also has a lot of a history in Minneapolis. During the George Floyd uprising, he was part of a SWAT team who was running around in an unmarked vehicle, shooting at people from the unmarked vehicle. This came to light because somebody was shot at from an unmarked vehicle and responded with a legal firearm to defend themselves. The police then identified themselves afterwards, attacked this person and beat him up, and he won a case recently because their body cam footage showed what they had done, how they were rolling around targeting people for no other reason than to shoot him. That was the officer who killed, one of those officers was the officer that killed Amir Locke. Again, a history in Minneapolis of things like this occurring. There's a lot of outrage. The mayor has brought in the Ray McKinson, somebody who gained fame during the Ferguson uprising after Mike Brown was killed by the police, and then had a large falling out with the community for basically grifting the movement, getting sort of fame. Just showing up and getting fame, but never really working in the community. And that's who the mayor, Frey, has brought in to Minneapolis. Local activists who have been working to try to reform or change or defund or abolish, whatever it is, the police department, were outraged because instead of reaching out to the community members who have lived here, been here, he brought in sort of a celebrity activist to try to quell what you're seeing kind of occur. And people are upset. This is, I think, 6 days since Amir was killed. And you can see all the people there. All these are high school students, majority high school students. This is the governor's mansion. And if you're just joining us, we're here in St. Paul, Minnesota. Sorry. Following a high school walkout, wanting justice for Amir Locke, who was shot by the Minneapolis Police Department and no knock warrant, then claimed he was a suspect. He was not on the warrant. Claimed he aimed a firearm at the police officers. He did not do that according to the body cam footage. People are looking at this as a police murder, asking for justice. Again, justice is not hard to achieve when somebody's life is lost. We're here once again in the streets of the Twin Cities metro area as people are pointing out that the police departments continue to take Black lives and people's lives here in the Twin Cities metro area. Nope, y'all.
Amir Locke! Amir Locke! Amir Locke! Amir Locke! Amir Locke! Amir Locke! Everybody, please!
Governor's mansion.
Okay, yeah. So, if you could, yeah, this space right here, we need at least every to fit in the street. And we need to you guys have to take this way. So we need y'all to get off the sidewalk. Please and thank you. We here! We're here! We're taking over this shit! Still got y'all on the sidewalk. Y'all can back, scoot back, you know. That sidewalk's falling back there. What they doing? Alright, yeah, just move back slowly. Yeah, there you go. Back it up. 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 Okay. Back it up. And back it up. Back it up. And for the speakers. Back it up. It's our street. Like you said, you did it. What? There's a last space right there. You gotta back it up. Yes. Okay. Everybody give yourself a huge round of applause. You did that. You locked up that classroom. You did that. You shared the post. You did the work. And now you won. That's not good. It's not good. What's his name? That's who we're here for. We're here for Amir Locke. Okay. Yes, that's
Yeah, we just wanted to bring it here to see this is the I know. Let's check out the signs. You see the governor mansion. There was occupation of this space after Philando Castile was murdered, killed, murdered. So I kind of moved away a little bit. I heard that the audio was a little muffled, and so I'm hoping that we can probably hear a little clearer from a few steps away, and then we'll kind of just stay here for a second. We'll walk around the whole perimeter. It's a lot of people, and we'll try to get back to see we can listen to a few speeches from the youth here who organized this walkout. Again, this is a high school walkout for Justice for Amir Locke, organized by the youth. You could hear, I don't know if you could hear the speaker talking about how they did this. They shared the posts. They got everyone out here. They gave each other routes to get to Central High School, like what trains to take, timelines to try to get here in time so they could all march here together. Just a big organizing effort by the youth here in the Twin Cities metro area after Amir Locke was murdered by Minneapolis Police Department. So I guess the end. I don't want Send me that message again.
Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? When I say mic check, you say mic check, and then just follow me. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. We need everybody to move forward to the sound truck. We need
Move forward. Soundtrack.
They're trying to get this soundtrack to move forward because the crowd is so large. It's in the intersection over there. So that's what you're listening to right now. They're trying to communicate with the whole crowd. One way of doing that is by doing mic check and trying to get the crowd to repeat the message down the line. And so that's what you're trying. I mean, I'm not sure if the audio was clear, but that's what they're trying to do. Again, there's a lot of people in the street. It'll be very difficult to move the sound truck, I think, but they're going to try. Again, they're here for justice for Amir Locke in front of the governor's mansion, which is here. And we'll see. There's going to be some speakers. We're going to try to stick around to listen to them so you can see what's going on here in the Twin Cities metro area after the Minneapolis Police Department killed Amir Locke. So yeah, they're moving the crowd down. And the history of since I've been here, again, there's a lot of history around police brutality in the Twin Cities area. It's the birthplace of AIM. There was an AIM patrol to defend the community against the police brutality. So there's a lot of history here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis. This area was occupied after the murder of Philando Castile. And I can't remember how many days it was occupied for. It was eventually cleared off by the police in a brutal raid. Before that, when in 2015, there was an occupation of the third precinct, fourth precinct. I don't remember. There's been a lot of precincts occupied. One was burnt down, obviously, after the murder of George Floyd, or at least was raided till the police fled. By the people. So there's been a lot of tension already around the police in this area. A lot of police killings that a lot of people felt there was no justice for. There's a long list of names. This is sadly, another name that's been added onto it. People are calling for justice after this no-knock warrant was used to enter a house and kill somebody who was asleep on a couch. And the police, like I said, claimed he was a suspect, trying to paint it as though they had done some sort of good, saying that he had used a firearm, aimed it at them. None of that turned out to be true. There's been really poor accountability for that so far. A lot of pressure being put on, I guess, the city apparatus. But so far, it doesn't seem like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't tell you. I do not know. But definitely, there's a lot of exhaustion, after the George Floyd uprising and after all the protests to bring attention to that and try to get justice of some sort. Again, there is not really justice when somebody's life is taken. You cannot get that life back. So, yeah, we're just gonna say it here. I'm not sure if you can hear the speakers. I'll try to move closer. I have a feeling that the audio is being a little blown out when I get too close, so we're gonna take a second just to look. Basically, this large crowd of, again, high school students organizing amongst themselves a walkout to come here to the governor's mansion and have this protest really visible to ask for justice for Amir Locke. They're still trying to get everyone to move. It's a lot of people, so it's hard to communicate with a large crowd. They're trying to use a mic check to get the crowd a chance, the information to move it down, the crowd down, but we'll see how it works out. Yeah, if you're just joining, we're in St. Paul, Minnesota. at this high school organized youth walkout. The high schools organized across the Twin Cities Metro, shared images on social media, giving each other directions on how to meet up at Central High School, what bus lines to take, what roads to take, what trains to take, to get there at a predetermined time, and then march together here to the front of the governor's mansion. Where's going to keep it live? Again, we're in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. As Indigenous people, we know the brutality we have faced from police. Again, Minneapolis being the birthplace of AIM Patrol, to try to defend the community against police brutality. These have been ongoing history here, and you see all of these youth taking up the call for justice. And again, I don't know where this will turn out. It's really uncertain, mostly after the election of Jacob Frey again, who ran a pro police platform, also lied that he banned no knock warrants, and was elected.
Yeah, I'm just telling you like understand. Okay. Yeah, go. All right. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Awesome. Okay. First and foremost, my name is Yvonne Truth. I'm 17 years old and I go to Washburn High School. And it's my best friend's birthday. I'm going to tell you. Listen, okay, listen. Amir Locke is not the first. He's not the first. Breonna Taylor was not the first. MPD has the ability to make sure this never happens. St. Paul Police Department has the right to make sure this doesn't happen. No one deserves to be struck down. No one deserves to be killed. No one can wake up as discombobulated community and know what to do in that moment. No one knows what to do in that moment. He had just woken up. He had just woken up. And like I said before, that could have been you. That could have been you. That could have been me. That could have been any of us. The police need to be My check. They treat black and brown people like they're less than, like they're three-fourths. They have their feet in our necks, and we can't have it any longer. The police steal people from our communities every day, every year. The year just started, and MPD has killed 3 people. 3 people. Yes. Fuck MPD. Fuck MPD. And the judge who allowed that Minneapolis Police, same judge for George Floyd's trial, George Floyd's killers are still out here. They need to come and bring it hold them accountable too. George Floyd is in jail, but there is 4 of them, all 4 need to be in prison. People out there. There are more Amir Locks, and we have to make sure that we are outside. And this is the first time I've ever seen the governor's mansion. That can't happen again. You need to be out here. You need to come to City Hall. You need to come to the rally because our whole family's grieving. Police, keep people in his ways, in terrible ways. Jacob Floyd needs to go. We need transparency. We need accountability. It's not coming from Fine. And it's not coming from that H&M chick. She can't know. If she can't say it right now, Mr. B, she can stand up with the police. No, Mr. B, she's gonna know what to do. She gets right in the face when it comes to questions of accountability. She gets right in the face and walk away. They walk away because they fear those questions and they don't know the answer. They don't know what to do. They cannot be in power. They cannot protect and serve. They're simply enabled. That's all I have to say. Justice for Amir Locke and all stolen lives. Mr. Locke, our next 2 speakers are me and Ezra. They're here. Great. Come on, Ezra, give it up for Ezra. Hey, how y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? My name is Ezra Hudson. I'm a senior at Central Highschool. I'm a co-founder of Minnesota Activism. We're a non-violent. Let me start talking. I'm going to try to look around, man. Look how many people are here. Look how many of your classmates, your friends, people you don't know are here. This is important. We're not going to let go over no more. The fact that we're able to get all out here and work. 2 days? 2 days for all around. You're not saying your cause, you're not saying that before, you're not just watching on TV, you love it. We love you for that. Right? We're not taking this to inspire ourselves, inspire our classes, inspire our family to keep fighting. We have to keep going. We can never stop. When we stop, they're going to keep killing us. Simple as that. We have to show them that we can. We have to show them that we got it. Obviously, they don't believe us. Lastly, like I said, man, keep on fighting. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. approximately the country next question. Any time for next year. So we're gonna have a Sandra and Miguel. Sandra, Miguel is good. You like to see me? I'm seeing out here tonight. This kid going on there. I'm coming in. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what she's saying.
So we can't go too well.
This is part of LGBTQ community, right here. Shout out LGBT. She, I don't know what she was saying. She dresses like a man. So the police decided to manhandle her because not only because she was just like a man, but because she was black. My sister's blacker than me by a lot, so that's good. They threw her out the car. She's in the passenger seat. My mom was driving. They pulled us over. They didn't look at my mom. They looked at my sister in the passenger seat and pulled her right out. Dragged her out the car. Dragged her on the grass. Holding her arms back to where she was telling them, "This hurts. I'm in pain. Please stop." Did they stop? No, they didn't stop. I'm in the back seat. I'm 7 years old, y'all. My mom's yelling, "She's a girl. She's a girl." He's like, "It don't matter, y'all." He says it doesn't matter. They proceeded to put her in the car, and life went on. She got fixed after. But just the experience, someone as close as a sister go through police brutality. He took off his body here. That's not bullshit. And to witness a man who was the same age as my sister at that time be killed in his own home, in his own bed, in rain. It's sad, y'all. To the white men out there that just don't get it. It could be your brother. It could be your sister. It could be your cousin, your uncle, your aunties, your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa. All of them. It could be any. It could be you. We men in the future of the color of your skin. That's not right. Okay. I just want to quickly touch on my experience and how this has affected me. I've always understood university as black communication, and yet I would like to work with the potential to do better. Unlike the study showing that too many black children know how to talk, I wasn't fully painfully aware of my place in the world until the age of 9, when I moved to the Trayvon Martin. This was when I learned that my life would be a value, no longer to the white members of my community. I also innocent at the age of 10 when living inside. I was decided that maybe my innocence was my name because Trayvon Martin did. I lost my innocence at 14 when my older brother, Stephen Healthy, from Central, came home saying, it's just Aiden, after police officers, hastening visiting the Senator Man's because they said, stop! He lost his victim of blackmail. I lost my innocence at 16 when I was forced to come to terms with completely racism in our society during the death of George Floyd. Fearing that my father, my brothers, or even myself was next. Moving forward, I hope that people know that this is a problem and seek progress. Moving forward, I hope to live in a country or a state where being broke is not a crime. My name is Grace. I'm a senior. I'm thankful for all these beautiful things I'm here for. To be good people, you know, you know, to work for the right thing. Years, we grew up in fear. When we open social media, all we see is another video of a black person being raped at the hands of those from Minnesota to protect us. Right? What you see in the picture? So was another news story about a black person being killed at the hands of those from Minnesota to protect us. Why? The thing that hurts more is in the hate that you have. Amir Locke, 22 years young. Trayvon Martin, 17 years young. Micaiah Blade, 16 years young. Amir Locke, 12 years young. going to fulfill our dreams. This thought in the back of our mind. I want to come to the end. I want to be able to understand.
Wait, come to the other road real quick. Speak out in front of the governor's mansion. My name is Valentin Sedana. I'm the director of tactical media here at the Indian Collective. I just wanted to bring you out here, be in solidarity with the Black communities that are being affected all the time by police violence. Amir Locke was killed in Minneapolis, which is also the birthplace of the AIM, the American Indian Movement. Started out as AIM Patrol to defend indigenous communities against police brutality. We're well aware of what the police does to people of color, Black indigenous folks. And again, if you don't know the whole what went down with Amir Locke, I'll try to do a quick summary here. Again, the speakers, I'm hearing the audio isn't very clear, so I'm just going to kind of bring us out. Hopefully give you an idea of how large this crowd really is. You've seen me walk through a lot. There's a lot of people here. Again, high school students organizing for justice for Amir Locke, organized on the internet, social media. I think men, teen activists are kind of leading the charge, sharing documents on how to get to the high school, Central Highschool, where they first walked out to bring attention to what happened to Amir Locke February 2nd, 2022, when police used a no-knock warrant to enter an apartment. Within 9 seconds, I think 7 seconds, they kicked Amir Locke awake, who was asleep on the couch underneath a blanket, and then shot him. There's a video that shows exactly what happened. After they shot him, they released a press release saying that Amir Locke was a suspect and that he had pointed a firearm at them and shared a photo of the firearm, saying he was a suspect. After that, there was a press conference where it became clear that on the search warrant, Amir Locke wasn't even on the search warrant. At the press conference, where the mayor of Minneapolis, Mayor Fry, was asked why he was called a suspect, he had no answer. He looked over to the interim police chief of Minneapolis, asking why that was the case. She had no answer. When they were asked again to please clarify, they walked out of that press conference. That was a press conference that started with a claim for transparency and accountability. Again, became clear that Amir Locke was not a suspect. Also, in the video that was released, again, very graphic content warning. Just if you do watch it, know it's somebody's killed and murdered in it. You can see in the video, Amir Locke does reach for his licensed firearm, which he had a permit to carry. When he grabs it in the safety position. If you are somebody who is taking firearm classes, you know you're not supposed to put your finger in the trigger loop of a firearm until you know what's going on, assessing are sure you're going to shoot something. When he grabbed his firearm, it was clear he was securing it. His finger was clearly off the trigger, away from the loop. The firearm was also not aimed at the police, as the police had claimed in their first press release. Since then, there's been a very big upheaval in Minneapolis, the Twin Cities area, as people are calling for accountability. And the police department has been calling for accountability since time immemorial. Check out MPD 150, I think is it if you want to see the history of the Minneapolis Police Department. Again, this is a high school walkout. I am just here in solidarity with our Black relatives who are facing the police brutality every day, you know, here in this area, in this city, in this continent, in the set of the colonial states. You know, it's just a reality of our lived experience. There's no real clear certainty of what's gonna kind of come from this killing, this murder. There's the mayor who ran on Mayor Frey, again, you probably don't know if you're not in Minneapolis, was just reelected. He ran when he was reelected, was sending out flyers to houses. You know how you get a flyer like, hey, vote for me. And on those flyers, he said that he had banned no knock warrants. Not the case, obviously. When asked about it, after walking out, the next day he had a press release and he kind of gave that one of those like, oh, I wish I had used better language when I lied about banning no knock warrants. He didn't say lies again. I wish I had used better language so it was more nuanced. Since then, they brought in DeRay McKinson. I can't remember his last name. who gained notoriety during the Ferguson uprising after Mike Brown was killed with the police department there. Um, he sort of got national attention and became a national activist, and also had a giant falling out with the local community when he started to appear in different areas, sort of like, you know, from what many said, promoting himself. So activists here who are well aware of the history of that, national celebrity activists were very upset to hear that was brought in. When there's activists, there's people here who have been fighting to change the police department for decades, since the gets. So again, we just wanted to bring it here to the ground. This is St. Paul. That's the the Minnesota governor's mansion. The governor is Tim Walz, who also let through the Line 3 pipeline after running, saying that he would never let a pipeline through treaty territory. That governor lives right there. Yeah, this youth organized this. It's pretty incredible to see. Again, I think recently there was like some stories talking about how we have to like not share doom and gloom about what's coming in the future around like climate, other issues. The youth are well aware of what's going on. They have the internet too. Somebody who, like me, I've been to many different events across the country, across the world. The youth is there because they know what's going on. They're not clueless. They're literally on the internet, just like you and me, and are aware of what's coming. They're my nieces and nephews are making plans around the future, expecting climate chaos. It's wild. And so just to be clear, these people organize this because they know this is their future they're going to be stepping into. It's going to be what they're going to have to deal with when they become adults. And they're already dealing with it now. The speaker was speaking about Tamir Rice, who was 12 years old, killed by the Cleveland Police Department. Within seconds, he had a BB gun in a park. The police rolled in on him like in a car, jumped out and shot him like instantly. And so 12 years old, he was killed by the police department. Police department there. So, and the youth is well aware this getting to them. Age doesn't seem to matter. He was a black child. And so again, a lot of trauma. It's hard to talk about. It isn't fun to talk about. And people are exhausted and want change and want justice. And again, justice is something you don't really get when a life is lost. What you want is that life back. I'm going to try to step closer and see if we can make out what people are saying. I know I heard that the audio wasn't super clear. Again, this is like my third set gear. Everything else was not correctly in order, so I apologize for that. But keep following the Indian Collective. Again, I'm Lorenzo Serna. My pronouns are they, them. I'm Chicanx. Let's go see what's going on. I'm not sure if we can hear the speaker talking about how they're tired and sick and tired again. A lot. Like I said, this ground here was occupied after Philando Castile was murdered. It's Wednesday is natural. I can't remember the police department that killed him. Protests have happened out here over and over again around this issue. Tim Walz, after the video was released, he gave a press release from his department where he said that the. Move out. I'm just gonna keep talking. I feel like it's hard to hear what's going on up there. But Tim Walz, the governor, said that the police needed more reforms. Again, very, very clear. This was the reformed police. All the reforms that have happened in the past happened to this police department. It was the reformed police. And when they say things like it needs more reforms, what they're really saying is it needs more funding, because all those reforms will be funding a bigger budget. The police department has a bigger budget already. And so just want to make that clear, that when you hear that language claiming that this police department needs reforms, these are the reformed police. Reformed police are who went into that door with a no-knock warrant. Minneapolis wanted the no-knock warrant. The St. Paul Police Department said they didn't need that warrant. They wanted it, so they could use the SWAT team to kick in the door, use a key to get in there, and which resulted in the killing of Amir Locke. And so it's just when you hear that language, they're just asking for. They're saying we need to give the police department some more money for different trainings, different certificates, and they have been getting more money every year. And so just be aware when you hear that language of reform, it's really just saying, let's give them a bigger budget so they can do better. And it just hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. I don't know how else to say that. It just doesn't work. Again, last year there was a police referendum in this area in Minneapolis, where they're calling to change the charter so they could change the police department to a Department of Public Safety, break apart some of the responsibilities of the police department to give more, just more community involvement. That didn't pass, and Mayor Frey was elected on a pro-police platform. And now we're here, as you said. The only speaker said that 3 people have been killed so far, um, and it's February 8th, I think today. February 2nd was when Amir Locke was killed. Yeah, I'm gonna try to see, bring you a little closer, and I think I might take the feed down. Yeah, I'll figure out how to get the
Don't ever forget how much power you have to this man. I've been to plenty of protests over the past couple of years here at the governor's mansion, and we couldn't even fill up this little section here. But you students came in and shut down the whole block. Y'all shut down their schools. Y'all shut down whatever y'all were doing. Y'all should be in school focusing on your education. But no, they are killing black and brown lives, young black and brown lives, and y'all decided y'all not gonna stand for it no more. Business as usual cannot continue because business as usual keeps killing people who look like me, who look like you, who look like you, who look like you. And there's not much money in this fight. I see young people like Jerome, like Marky, like Amani, like Nagash, and I said to myself, like, damn, I wish I was that woke when I was their age. But then I realized I had the privilege of not being woke. Y'all don't have no damn choice. Y'all don't have a choice. You can't sit and focus on your education because y'all have to keep seeing people that look like you being murdered. You keep seeing people that look like you being murdered by the state, and the state keeps trying to justify it. I had the privilege of being quiet. I had the privilege going to school and not really worrying about the world around me. But what makes me so proud of each and every one of you is y'all said, fuck that. Y'all said, fuck that. You're not going for business as usual. You can't sit and focus. This is where your mind, this is where your heart is. And that gives me hope. Because I know when you guys are my age, I'm not that old, I'm only 25, about to be 25. But when y'all are my age, you have created a path for the youth to follow in your steps. And then again, they will do the same. And eventually, Black, brown, Latinx, Indigenous, Asian, trans, queer students can go to school. Can go to school and focus on their schoolwork. Because that's what students are supposed to be doing. But people that sit in this building, people that sit in the mayor's offices, people that sit in the Capitol, people that are supposed to be creating laws, they're making it open season on all of you. So you are deciding no more. You are deciding no more. And I know that this fight will continue. That this fight will continue. But I also know that because of each this course is the winner. You guys okay? Medic? We need a medic right over there.
Sounds like they may have fainted. There's a medic going towards them right now.
Just give them some space.
We're gonna stay over here and give
Give
a little
them some
space.
space. If y'all can open up from here to there, baby. The medics are under control. If they need help, they will let us know. Again, what I was saying, the fight will continue. Being positive, each and every one of you are getting us closer to victory than we have ever been. Closer to victory than we have ever been. So again, students, youth, all of y'all, do not forget the power that you have. Do not forget the power that you have. Because at the end of the day, this fight is each and every one of your hands. And I know that it is good hands. Y'all are gonna win this fight. I believe it. Y'all are gonna lead the way. So Amir Locke, say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. What's his name? Say his name. Say his name. What's his name? Say his name. Power to the people. You guys agree with that? So let's get I want to say serious. Let it get the check. We need to let it get the check.
I'll find somebody else fainted.
Listen, it's all right. It ain't nothing but the devil. It ain't nothing but the devil. So we gotta keep on. It ain't nothing but the devil. All right, let's keep it in. Listen. Mic check, can y'all hear me? I bet. So real quick, we're gonna take a quick moment of silence for 9 seconds. And y'all gonna see how fast that 9-second timer is gonna go up. That's how long it took for Amir Locke to... She's fine, she's fine. All right, real quick. We're gonna do a 9-second moment of silence. All right.
Y'all, this is very, very, very important. If you need water, we have so much water. If you need water right now, raise your hand, we'll come bring it to you.
Okay, cool. I'll come around with water. We have water, right? All right. Wait, listen. All right, listen up. Hey, as y'all getting water, as we getting water, I want everybody to be very quiet. Be very quiet. Mic check. Mic check. Listen up. While you keep your hands up, we're gonna take a moment of silence. I'm gonna set this timer. Y'all gonna hear the ding, and that's how long it took for Amir Locke to be murdered by Minneapolis Police and the SWAT team. Quiet up, quiet up. 9 seconds is beginning now. We need an available nurse. Is there an available nurse or medic? We need an available nurse or medic to check in at the truck. Thank you very much. She's coming! Stop these 9 seconds over again so y'all can see how long it took for Amir Locke to be murdered. Starting now. And just like that, in a matter of 9 seconds, he was murdered. All right, everybody walk towards that way. Walk towards that way.
Somebody's fainted. They're trying to figure out a way to get the person out. So let's move on real quick. All right, I'm gonna move real quick. No, it's all good. Lots of people. That's how it goes. Yeah, so it sounds like somebody fainted. People aren't sure what's going on. They're bringing an ambulance up right now. So it sounds like somebody's by the sound truck. They called up a nurse. The nurse is calling for an ambulance now, and that's why everyone cleared out. They told everyone to move out of the street to get the ambulance through. Right now they're clearing out the cars. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened. If anybody's asking, I'm not sure. I wasn't by the truck. I know the people have been standing for a long time. That's all I really know. Right now, the people are going through handing out water to people who need it, or the people have gotten dehydrated during this time. I don't know if that's related. There's a pathway now for the ambulance that's been called. Again, cleared very quickly. There were multiple medics in the crew. So yeah. careful. You can hear the ambulance coming now. I was waiting here. I'm gonna wait till the ambulance arrive, and then I'll probably leave after that. Again, a really tragic end, but hopefully everyone's okay. Again, people have been standing for a while now. I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much about what happened. But there was one person who fainted before. They were attended to. They seemed fine. They got up, and then somebody else may have fainted. They brought medics up, called for a nurse, and then they called for an ambulance. And now people are waiting for the ambulance to arrive. Well, the ambulance is over there. Let me see. All right, I'm gonna take off. Hopefully everything's okay. I mean, there's no way I can get more information. I'm not gonna go up to ask questions. I'm gonna let people deal with what's going on. So, all right, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. My name is Lennon Soserna. I'm with the organization, the Indian Collective. I'm the director of technical media here. My pronouns are they, them. I'm Chicanx. Right now, we see an ambulance is pulled up. Somebody may have fainted. I wasn't near what occurred. They moved everyone away and they moved the ambulance in to hopefully help what's the person that's going on. Before that, somebody fainted. Some medics helped them and they seemed fine. Everyone handed out water afterwards, making sure people are hydrated. But again, I don't know exactly what happened. This is a high school walkout organized by high school students. Started at Central High School in St. Paul, moved to the governor's mansion, which is right here. Governor Tim Walz. I'm calling for justice for Amir Locke. You kind of heard me say what happened over and over again, but again, Amir Locke was killed February 2nd, 2022, when the Minneapolis Police Department used a no-knock warrant, requested it after the St. Paul Police Department wanted them to execute a search warrant. Minneapolis demanded a no-knock warrant, got it signed by the same judge who oversaw the Derek Chauvin trial. Derek Chauvin being the police officer who killed George Floyd. Signed the no-knock warrant. Police went into the apartment and within 9 seconds killed Amir Locke. The police released a photo of a gun and said that they had killed the suspect. It became clear that sorry, I hear people talking in distance, but Amir Locke was not on the search warrant. He wasn't a suspect. He was legally allowed to use the gun, to have a gun. The police said that he had aimed at them, and the body cam video that was released after the family viewed the video it was not aimed at them. It was a lie. And so there's a lot of accountability and transparency being asked for. The mayor, Jacob Frey of Minneapolis, responded by walking out of a press conference when he was asked why he was called a suspect. I think this is the. Hopefully everyone's all right. Anyways, keep following the Indian Collective. The hashtag is justice for Amir Locke. Amir Locke, again, it's very hard to get justice when somebody's life is lost. I've heard that. I've been in a lot of different police brutality instances, police killings, and most of the families are very clear. There is no justice when the family member is gone. It's just what you get isn't what you want, which is the person back in their lives. That's it. I'm going to take off. Again, I'm going to continue to rally here. Again, you can keep following the Indian Collective. I'll be here on the ground. Again, this is, again, I apologize for the audio quality. I heard it was a little bit of a problem. I was using like my third layer gear because everything else decided not to work. And that's just how it worked out today. Again, thanks for letting me work with what you got. At least we're to be here in solidarity with our Black relatives who are facing the same police brutality that Indigenous communities face. Again, Minneapolis is the birthplace of the American Indian movement, AIM Patrol, that was defending the community against police brutality. And it just continues today. Really amazing to see all these youth come together. Again, the organizing by the youth too was like flyers, images on social media. They gave directions how to take the different trains, buses to rally up at the high school at a certain time, then march together here. All right, I'll show you. That's it. I don't even know how to take this around. Thank you so much for being here. Follow, like, share.